Okay, folks, thought you might like to see how to make chia pudding. It can either be enjoyed for breakfast or as a dessert, but either way, it's really easy to make. It's best if you start the night before or give yourself 6 hours to make this, to allow the pudding to settle. But when it's finished, it looks a bit like this. So I put it in a fancy dish, but here we go. You can see, I'm going to tip the camera forward and you can see it's a lovely sort of sweet pudding, and the consistency is sort of slightly porridgey really. But if you make a big batch of it, then you can keep it in the fridge during the week and just take a bit every morning for breakfast. So let's get started. So we're going to start by putting, it's 6 tablespoons of chia seeds into a mixing bowl or jug. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to stir in 2 tablespoons of erythritol. So that's that one there, but whatever brand. So 2 tablespoons, or you might like to make it a bit sweeter. At this stage, I give it a good stir. Get the erythritol in there. I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. This is a really good quality one that doesn't contain any artificial flavours or sugar. So I'll put a teaspoon of that in. And then the next most important thing is to add your almond milk. Now, the almond milk's very enormously. This is a really good one, but it's expensive. It only contains 3 ingredients. There's no emulsifiers or gums or anything like that. So it's a really nice one. But the ones you see most often and the most affordable ones will have additives and emulsifiers in them. But hey, you know, that's okay as well. Go for the best you can afford. So give the almond milk a good shake if it's this one that will have settled to the bottom. This one's all the same because it's got emulsifiers. So I'm going to add 500 mils of this, and the most important thing is I'm going to just add half a litre. So there we go, I'll show you, just pouring that in so that it comes up to my 500 mils mark, and give it a really, immediately you've got to start giving it a really good whisk with a fork. You really do have to whisk it, because these little chia seeds are going to start getting very sticky and they clump together and they all settle to the bottom. So that's about it really. We've got the chia seeds, the erythritol sweetener, some vanilla and the almond milk, and give it a really good whisk. Make sure there's no clumps. Okay, and then we're going to let that, set your timer for 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes all the seeds will have settled back down to the bottom, and you've actually got to work quite hard to start breaking them up again, start all over again. So you do that a couple of times, and eventually you'll end up with the seeds distributed. It'll look like that before they sink to the bottom. So keep whisking every 5 minutes until it starts to thicken, and after about 10 or 15 minutes, something like that, the seeds will be swollen. Cover it, pop it in the fridge, and leave it for, say, either 5 or 6 hours, or even better, overnight. And the result is, so I suppose, a bit like tapioca pudding really. You can see it's got a bit, okay, it looks a little bit like frog spawn, but it's delicious. It's sort of vanilla flavoured. Chia seeds are full of fibre, they contain protein, good fats and oils. Yeah, just a really good all-round food, particularly for the low-carb lifestyle. So once you've made your big bowl like this, you can keep it in the fridge for maybe 3 or 4 days. Just take out what you need each time for breakfast or pudding. So I'll show you here, for example, if I were having, just going to move the camera down a bit. If I were wanting a breakfast, I would take what I need out of the pot, the big pot, a couple of tablespoons. I'd add a dash of double cream, just about a tablespoon, because that's going to help keep you full, makes it really luxurious, and it's good dairy fats there. And then I will add some fruit compote. Now, this fruit compote is basically stewed berries, and the stewed berries, or I buy the berries from the supermarkets. The berries packs are often called wonky berries or summer berries, but they will include usually strawberries, sometimes raspberries, usually blackberries, black currants or red currants. These are the fruits that contain the least sugar, and they're very acceptable on the low carb diet. Don't pick up by accident the packs that contain grapes and there's one that contains grapes and cherries, and those are very high sugar, so avoid those. So allow the pack to, if you want to use it immediately, to defrost in a big saucepan. Bring it to a simmer, turn it down and let it cool, and you end up with this lovely sort of fruit compote. And then you can refreeze it into batches, and then just simply add a bit to your mix, your breakfast bowl like that. Give it a bit of a whiz round, and you have a lovely breakfast. And as I say, if you don't add the cream until you're actually going to eat it, the remainder will just sit quite happily in the fridge for several days. If you want to make it really special for friends or whatever, add some cocoa powder. That'll be in the list as well. So do that at the start, and just some unsweetened cocoa powder, blend it in with the chia seeds before you add the milk. This is what we had earlier. You can see it's starting to separate now. The seeds are starting to drop. I'm going to give it another whisk. I can feel them at the bottom. They're starting to drop down. So I've got to keep those suspended and leave it for another 5 or 10 minutes. And unfortunately, if it does go clumpy, if you forget and you come away, it's all settled at the bottom, just keep smashing it up with your fork, and say cover it and put it in the fridge till you're ready to use it. So there we have chia pudding or chia breakfast. So hope you can enjoy having a go.